Hello, so today we're going to be going over a Wukong Jinx reroll line. So this was a line that I'm sure is very popular. I'm sure lots of you have seen it or played it yourselves. But I haven't done a video on it. I hadn't played it that much just because it's usually contested. But I'm liking myself more towards a lot of these reroll lines just because I feel like, I kind of just gave up on the patch. I was trying really hard to learn really niche lines, play forecast boards, study stats, do all sorts of stuff to get really good at TFT, and I think it's all meaningless and useless and you just gotta play reroll every time. So I switched to playing reroll only and I climbed 400 LP in 2 days. 300 LP in 2 days. So yeah, that's the patch, so you gotta learn reroll, get good at all the reroll lines. It doesn't matter if you have really niche item combos and stuff like that. But I don't mean to be super cynical. I don't want that to come across the wrong way. That was just mostly my problem of misidentifying the meta. I thought, a lot of boards like Rise being really strong, Xerath being really strong. I didn't realize how much rerolls can lean into these max cap boards as such. So it's something that I kind of learned on my own, and now I'm kind of a lot more comfortable playing around the game, I would say. But anyways, this is a game where I'm going to be playing Wukong and Jinx, and basically what you play is just play all the Preserver units, Wukong and Jinx. That's the board. Wukong, Jinx, and all the Preserver units. So you might look at it and be like, okay, so obviously there's something else with it. It's a little bit more complicated than that. There's actually a little bit of nuance with this that you might not notice or might not know off rip. And I'll try and point that out in this video. Of course, if you like my content, make sure to like and subscribe. Because that helps me a lot as a small creator, especially to help with noticeability and stuff like that. If you want to join live, sometimes I'm a little bit tilted when playing live, or I'll complain a little bit. But now we have bingo cards. So if you win bingo, you can get VIP in my chat. Maybe we can work on getting some rewards and stuff if I start making a bit of an income that I can afford to spend on stuff. But for now, whenever we play TFT, if anything happens, if I have bad behavior of any sort, or if things go wrong in the game or things go right, chat has a randomized bingo card. You just have to come to stream and get one, and we'll play until somebody wins, basically. And then that person gets VIP or gets some sort of reward, and we'll figure it out. So here, I'll talk about this opener. So, You Have My Bow is kind of okay, but it's not that great. Eternal Growth is really bad. Eternal Growth Plus is okay. Eternal Growth just regular is fucking garbage. Never take it. Unless you really think that you have a good spot for it. I would not recommend trying it out. But here I see Three's Company. So I'm kind of thinking to myself, I want to angle myself towards some sort of reroll. And Three's Company, I don't think it's that good in the stats. But Three's Company is an oldie goldie. It's a very standard, you just buy it for econ. Right? So the way I'm buying it is that, hey, if I don't hit a 3-cost unit that I'm going to play, I'm just going to sell them all and I'm going to be really rich. And being really rich allows me to have the most flexibility in order to force or guarantee hitting certain units. So I take Three's Company here. And you'll see that I sell some of my units. Right now I have a little bit of awkward items, right? I have Rod, Sword, I can maybe play towards melee, I can make a Bloodthirster. And then I hit a Wukong. So I'm kind of down, okay, maybe we can play Wukong. I hit a Wukong and a Bard. So that kind of fits towards the Preserver line. I'm trying to think. Right now I'll just play Frost for a turn. But as you can see, I have my whole bench full. I can basically make 20 gold. Right, if you look at this. So I decide I probably won't play Frost. I want to sell the Swain. It's stage 2. Stage 2-1. It was a bit of a gold opener, so there was a bit of gold to drop early. But I'm making 20. Making early econ is really important no matter what you're playing. It's probably the most important thing because if you make early gold, this makes interest, right? 20 gold makes it easy to hit 30. As soon as you get 50 gold online, you're going to be up so much gold relative to the lobby. Look, I'm making 20. This guy's making 0. These are the times where it's okay, I'm just going to sack. I'm going to 5 loss. I'm going to be rich as fuck. And I'm going to play whatever I want. Because if you have a lot of gold, you can basically play whatever you want. Nobody can really contest you or threaten you. Obviously, you can low roll. But the more gold that you have early, it's really important in a lot of these games. So I'm going to show you, it doesn't look like I have the greatest board. I want to lose here so that I can guarantee good items. Right, I have this Wukong, so I want to make Gargoyle for Wukong. I have this Rod, so I want to make Gwinsu for Jinx. But I'll show you roughly what the board looks like, just so you have a little bit of an idea of what we're aiming for and what we're trying to play towards. So this is the board. more or less, basically all you do is, if you look here, you're just playing all the Preserver units. So what does Preserver do? Preserver heals your team for percentage of their maximum health. So basically it makes everybody really tanky, and every couple seconds, it recovers maximum HP. What you usually do is you go for Wukong 3 and go for Jinx 3. Now I put Bloodthirster here. Usually you make Bloodthirster on Wukong if you get the hero augment, which is Spin to Win. If you get the hero augment Spin to Win, it's pretty much just a first. That thing is so unbalanced. I have not seen a single time anybody get less than first with that augment. I maybe second if somebody else high rolls and gets like 10 portal or some crazy shit. But like, I have never seen anybody go bot 2 with Spin to Win in my lifetime. It is ridiculous. But anyways, we'll remove the Bloodthirster. I'm just mentioning it. It's still an okay item on Wukong, but it's not necessary. Typically, you want to stack Gargoyles on Wukong, and you want to solo frontline the Wukong. As you can see, yes, Rakan is another frontline unit. I'm not putting Rakan next to Wukong up here. Morgana is a frontline unit. Yes, I'm not putting Morgana next to the Wukong. What I'm doing is I'm putting them as far away from this as possible, because I want the enemy to isolate. I want this Wukong to be isolated with a bunch of enemy units. The way Gargoyle works is that you gain armor and magic resist for each enemy targeting the holder. And then Wukong, as a passive ability, you see the passive, gain 30% bonus armor and magic resist from all sources. So what you want to do is you want to build Gargoyles. It's really efficient. You make all the enemies swarm the Wukong. Wukong gets a shit ton of armor and magic resist. And with that armor and magic resist, he gains 30% bonus for each of them. It makes them basically unkillable. And then the combination that we're working with is Vertical Preserver. Play as many Preservers as you can, because what it's going to do is it's going to recover maximum health over time. So this Wukong now is just going to be sitting there, going to be super tanky, and it's basically going to be unkillable. That's the idea behind this comp. You're stalling to be unkillable. Now, for your carry, you can play Jinx. You can reroll Jinx as well as reroll Kog'Maw. I feel like rerolling Kog'Maw is a bit of a throw. It's very hard to get the Kog'Maw online. So a lot of times you'll see me that I'll just play like an Olaf, because a lot of times I'll hit Olaf 2 before I hit Kog'Maw 2, and I'll just itemize Olaf instead. But the idea is that you play Hunter and you play this Jinx. And Jinx, you usually want to build her with at least one Guinsoo. Guinsoo is a bit weird. Like, it doesn't say that it's like the best item ever on her. But you usually make, like, you know, if you're really high roll, you can make Guinsoo, Red Buff, Rune Hands. And basically with the Rune Hands, it makes it so that the Jinx will just snipe random opponents. And with the Guinsoo, she'll stack up, or she'll ramp up her attack or speed, while the Wukong is basically tanking for everything. You basically stall out, and then the Jinx gets so much attack speed that she'll just hit everybody for a shit ton of damage. Now, instead of Jinx, there are other variations of this board for sure. I've seen people play it and have success with Karma, even though Karma is really bad. Preserver Karma with Wukong is something you can still play. It's still somewhat viable. But there, like, basically, if you have this set up with the Wukong, as long as you have somebody in the back line that does like semi AoE damage or like some sort of ramping scaling, you can play this setup and you can have some sort of success with it. It's not that difficult. It's not that complicated. The other thing that's really important to note is that, like, you know, obviously I'm saying here you're going to play Morgana. If you need a +1 spot, because you're going to be playing Zillion, the best units you could probably play as a Chrono unit. I'm going to use Camille as an example. Chrono, if you don't know, even 2 Chrono, your team restores 20% max health. So going on this line of stalling and tankiness, you can easily just throw in a Vex, throw in Camille, throw in anybody. So a lot of times your board might look something like this on level 7. You usually roll on level 7 for Wukong and Jinx. And then there's other variations. The other variation that you should know is also to understand that you can play 4 Hunter pretty easily. So let's say you don't have a Morgana and you're waiting for Morgana. Fitting in 4 Hunter will up your damage for the Jinx a lot. It fits in really nicely with the Twitch and the Olaf that you can just easily play them. And with Hunter, the main thing about Hunter is that you want to get a takedown, and then they get that ramping attack damage. So you never want to put Jinx on the same side. Like, let's say the enemy team has, like, here, I'll show full board. Position wise, you always want to put the Jinx where she can snipe somebody. So let's say your enemy has like a Warwick and a Tahm Kench, and they're positioned like this, right? Let's say it's a 2-star Warwick and a 2-star Tahm Kench, right? You want to position the Jinx on the side of the Warwick, because you want the Jinx to kill the Warwick so that she gets her Hunter attack boost, right? You get attack damage that's increased the first time that you get a takedown. So you want to get this takedown as soon as possible. You don't want the Jinx to get stuck on their main tank. So you always want to position your Hunters. Even if you're playing around Olaf, you want to position your Hunters in such a way that they get a takedown already. The other thing I want to note, this is something I'm going to talk about it in the patch notes a little bit more. And I'm also going to make a separate guide on specifically looking at stats. which I am working on. Don't worry. The reason that I'm gonna talk about these two things is because like I've had questions about it. I don't want to give bad practices. What I was gonna say is that Jinx items are a little bit finicky. This is something that you only would really discover by looking at the stats. The Jinx items right now, if you look at her items in general, a lot of them, besides like let's just put like 1,000 games or whatever, a lot of the items you see that it's like Runans, red buff. Like a lot of the good items are bow items, and a lot of the bad items are sword items. Like Deathblade is bad, but it seems like Deathblade would be good because if you read Jinx as a champion's description, she does extra bonus damage scaling off of AD. Mortdog said in the patch rundown she's bugged, so Jinx is getting buffed / reworked or bug fixed because that's why bows are really good on her. Obviously, if you put more filters on, it'll show it a little bit better, but what's it called? Bow items work better because she doesn't scale off her AD properly, right? And that's something you wouldn't know in the stats, right? But Runans is always really good, especially if you hit something like in the Tempest augment where it gives you like Runans and you go kind of crazy. Red buff's really good. You really just want to build bow items. Come Wednesday, we'll see how it changes. Like obviously, if this comp will still be viable because nobody's really getting nerfed. Jinx is just getting like fixed, so she's not bugged anymore. So there's a chance that things like Deathblade and all these other items might be a little bit better on her. Obviously, I'm going to bring up how to read stats and understanding stats as a guide in the next video. If you're below like plat elo or something, I wouldn't even worry about stats. That's like a rough guideline. Don't take it to heart. Like you can be the golden god and you can look at stats all you want. I'm not gatekeeping anything. All I mean to say is that like I'm only talking about optimizing boards in my videos because I'm trying to make it appeal to a wide audience. I wouldn't take anything to heart if I'm like, this item's really good and this item's really bad. It's like, I want you guys to understand that, you know, because it's daily content, I repeat the same things over and over, and sometimes I don't like explain myself to the fullest every single day. I just want you to understand that when I'm talking about this, when I'm talking about stats, I'm talking about like hyper optimizing when the rest of the board is already doing good, right? If you already have a good grasp on how to play the rest of the game, then you look at the stats to hyper optimize it to make sure that you're like learning and discovering stuff and playing the optimal things, right? It's not something that everybody has to do. So don't get scared or don't get misinterpret that I'm like saying like this is good, this is bad, this is unmakeable, this is makeable. I'm just trying to say like, hey, that's why I'm gonna make a guide on it. I'm saying like, hey, check this out. Now I have 2 Wukongs. I'm 50 gold, level 6 on 3-1. I am so rich this game, right? We watched our Krugs. I made a Runans because I want Gwynsu and Runans. Runans is really good because especially when the Gwyn Runans works really well with Gwynsu. Because Gwynsu, you get ramping attack speed. Runans gives you a bit of starting attack speed. And Runans, what it does is you'll see like it fires these bullets to random units. So you can sometimes just snipe random units. And if you have a Gwynsu that's stacking up a lot, like we will do because we're playing around Wukong. Because we're playing around Wukong this game. What's going to happen is you're going to get so many of these stray shots that you're just going to like just delete boards. Category 5. GG. Shake my hand. Gain a Runans. Your Runans do 95% of the additional damage and they fire extra bolts. So guess what? We're just going to make full Runan build. So obviously category 5, support golem is one of the best augments in the game. In this spot in particular, it's 100% always going to be category 5. Those are going to be my Jinx items. Now you might think to yourself, oh, well, you have a Runans for Kog'Maw, you have a Runans for Jinx. You're good to go. You reroll both of them. No, it's double Runans on Jinx. It's double Runans on Jinx because I'm going to make this Jinx fucking fry everybody. As you can see here, I'm going to go fast 7 though. So I'm really rich. I'm okay with losing 1 or 2 more rounds. I'm gonna roll right after neutral. So as soon as I get onto carousel, I'm gonna go for a Wukong item. So I'm gonna go for 1 gargoyle on my Wukong. So I'm okay with losing these next 2 rounds just to guarantee that I get an item for Wukong, right? I really want to have at least 1 gargoyle on Wukong. And then once I have the gargoyle on Wukong, I'm just gonna pivot. I'm gonna full sell. I'm gonna play Jinx. Nobody in the lobby, I already checked multiple times, is playing Jinx, so I feel like I'll be uncontested. The general rule of thumb is when you're playing a reroll, 3 cost comps, you cannot contest somebody because there's not enough units for both of you to hit. 2 cost comps, you can contest because there is enough units for you to hit. There's many times that people both hit the same 2 costs, but you can only one way contest them. So here I feel very comfy because nobody here is playing around Wukong or Jinx, so I will just play them. I already have a Wukong 2, and I found an Olaf. I'm down to just play Olaf on my board. I can play a 4 Hunter version for the time being. Remember I was telling you, you don't have to necessarily just play vertical and chrono and all of the vertical, preserver, and chrono. Like I was saying before, if you have an option where you find Olafs early and you have Olaf upgraded, you can play around 4 Hunter as well to bide you time until you hit like that really cool Morgana upgraded and all these other units and stuff. Right? Just think about it in a manner as such. As you can see, I am losing a lot of HP. I am dropping very low, but we are okay with that. We are going to ride out the storm. As long as we have a couple lives to spare that we won't get like RNG killed if anything. I'm very rich. I'm pre-leveled to 7. Right? I'm level 7 next turn. I'm literally level 7 after Carousel with 50 gold. I'm in a good spot. I'm going to roll till around 30. I'm going to roll until at least I hit a Jinx or I hit most of my board, making sure that it's in the team planner so I don't get confused. And we're going to let it rip. So on Carousel, we just really want a stone plate. So we really want a bramble vest so we can make our gargoyle stone plate for the Wukong. There is a Wukong with a bow. That's fine. Don't get baited. We need the Wukong item. More so than we need to hit Wukong 3. We're uncontested and we're rich. We should be able to hit Wukong 3 no matter what. I'm not too worried about that. Just stay calm. It'll be fine. Hold me, chat. And yeah, 1 gargoyle is going to be enough for mid game. They buffed Wukong 2, so the comp is stable at singular upgrade, right? So Wukong 2 is going to be stable for a while. We're not going for Wukong 3 this turn, obviously. Roll a dice, get a Jinx. I could remove her on the Kog'Maw. That's what I do. There's a Kog'Maw reroller. I could sell the Kog'Maw, but it's not that necessary. And now I'm just rolling for all my board. We're gonna scroll down a little bit. I found 2 Olafs, so I can easily play around Olaf here. I could also fit in the 4 Hunter now. I think I'm missing. Who am I? I'm missing Twitch. I didn't hold on to a Twitch. I would recommend if early game you see a Twitch, you just hold on to it. Because look right now, I didn't find Rakan. So for a couple turns until I find Rakan, I can easily just play 4 Hunter. And it gives me a bit of a damage boost on the Jinx, so we'll take it. But now I don't expect to lose many rounds. If you look at the double Runans, so each Runans is firing extra bolts. So I'm just melting, like these guys are catching stray bullets basically. Right? They're getting a bunch of attack speed. The Jinx scales really well off attack speed because like sword items are kind of useless because she's a little bit bugged right now. They're not useless, but it's not that good for her. Basically every turn now as well, we're gonna roll for a charm. We're gonna make sure that we're as strong as possible. We don't want to lose a singular round for the rest of the game. So every turn we're gonna buy a charm. Here I roll because I want to combat. As you can see, I found Olaf 2, so we're good. I'll probably roll until at least I hit a charm. I don't have 4 Hunter in, so I put in this guy for Chrono. Remember what I was saying with Chrono, you recover 20% of your maximum HP. I roll until charm, I hit the charm, and that's it. We're good. I found a Twitch, so now I can put in 4 Hunter instead of the Chrono. I think it's a little bit more important because, you know, the Chrono is good because it gives you the healing, but I just want a little bit more of extra damage to stabilize. So like I said, this might not be the necessary best board that you'll see all the time in all the guides, but just be a little bit flexible with me. 4 Hunter for now. 4 Hunter doesn't matter that much, but I do have an Olaf 2. So, you know, let it rock, right? Let's go Olaf, right? We're Olaf fans in this house today. It's good. It'll be fine. So just anything that helps the Jinx get a first kill and ramp up the damage, it'll be fine. You also get Frost, which helps a little bit with the front line. The Frost isn't that important, but just because Zillion's already Frost, these 2 are Hunters, you can fit it in for free. I think in a max cap, your max cap is usually you stabilize around 4 Preserver, and then you level for 4 Hunter. So a lot of times you only play this Olaf if you make it to level 9. Right? A lot of times you'll play like 4 Preservers, so you'll play 2 extra Preservers, then when you level, you'll play 4 Hunter. That's something that's very standard and normal. It's a little bit reversed here just because I hit this Olaf 2 so early. As you can see, the Olaf's doing almost as much damage as the Jinx, so it's kind of working out okay for my board, so it makes sense to have the 4 Hunter in, at least right now. If I hit the Preservers, I can decide to swap in the Preservers, but it just feels like my board is more meaningful like this. So we go neutrals. I get dropped another gargoyle, so that's perfect. So I'll have a second gargoyle for my Wukong. I'm rolling for a better charm here as well because, you know, I want something that's kind of useful. Reforger and Remover is good enough because it's at least a free charm. Buying charms is important because there's always a chance that you can cap out your board around Xerath, which scales off the charms. You also want to buy charms every single turn because you want to be in a good spot to like you want to make sure you don't accidentally lose a round because of charm diff, right? You don't want to accidentally lose a round because you didn't buy a charm. Now this guy's gonna be scary to look out for. As you saw, I didn't really position well. The Akali was able to dive onto my Jinx, or sorry, the Katarina was able to dive onto my Jinx. You want to make sure that you always position well because this Wukong is a solo front line. Sometimes the units will just easily be able to wrap your back line. If the Jinx dies, that's it. It's game over. This whole board is contingent on the Wukong, everybody getting stuck on the Wukong. So you can get scammed really easily from an Akali. You can get scammed really easily from a Katarina. And here I'm looking for a good augment. LDP is, it's okay. I just take Preserver +1. Now, why did I take Preserver +1? You might ask. Now I'm just going to Preserver Emblem the Olaf. I see a lot of people Preserver Emblem Wukong. I don't think it's that good. Like, I understand. Basically, the way Preserver works is it recovers maximum HP. And if you are a Preserver unit, you recover twice as much, I believe. I forget the exact number. Maybe when I hover it, I'll read it. I don't think it's that good on Wukong. Like, I've tried it before. I've seen other people do it. And I feel like it's just better to put it on somebody else and to have a third item on Wukong. Maybe I'm crazy for that. Maybe, like, you know, call me fucking loco bananas, like, whatever you want to call me. Me, personally, I don't think it's worth it. If you don't have a Wukong item, then yes, obviously, like, anything is better than no item. But I have this sword. I'm thinking, like, I can make Bloodthirster. I have 3 Reforgers. If I don't want to make Bloodthirster, I can make something else, right? I'm kind of okay with that. Now, you'll notice that there's just because of the way that I did this build, I'm running out. Also, I got fucking scammed, by the way. Look at how low this Ari's HP is, and look how low this guy's HP is. I was so close to winning this fight. Anyways, it's okay. That's probably a charm diff for sure. But I'm imagining that I can make another Wukong item, right? I can reforge something, and I'll have a third Wukong item. If I had Preserver on Wukong, I'd probably win this fight. As you can see, my Jinx is trying to snipe everybody, but then this guy's witchy wall up, so he just goes bang bang, and the Poppy just kills everything. He also has like triple bis, like he has the best Poppy items, and he hit raid boss. This guy is so high roll. He's level 750, raid boss, Poppy with triple best items on her. Like, you can't even high roll that any harder. As much as my game kind of looks high roll, it's like I kind of put myself in this spot because I econed up so much, right? I was 20 gold on stage 2, right? I have to hit a board. But holy shit. That guy's probably going to win the game. No lie. Like, as much as my board looks strong, obviously if I hit Jinx 3, I'll be stronger. But, like, I don't think I'm making it to, like, wherever that guy is. So anyways, what I'm thinking here is, like, I'm probably aiming to just make Bloodthirster on Wukong. I know, like, Bloodthirster isn't that great, but I think Wukong with Bloodthirster, even outside of the hero augment, it's actually pretty good on him. I'm okay with it, just because it gives a health shield. So it gives a little bit of armor and it gives a little bit of MR because of it's a cloak component. Because it uses a cloak, it gives a little bit of magic resist, which is good in this lobby, right? The person I'm most scared of is probably a magic resist player. The health shield is really good because it makes it a little bit harder to get like chewed through by like an Ahri player, for example. Just having like a raw shield that they have to chew through is really nice. And then it also gives them a little bit of Omnivamp. So to me, it's like, okay, it seems like it's a good item altogether. If I get a cloak here, which I should be able to get a cloak, it's usually not like a hotly contested item. I'm down for that. Based on item economy, I'm a little bit poor in item economy because I don't have Shred or Anti-Heal. So Shred or Anti-Heal will really help my Jinx do a way more damage. Right now I don't have either of those options. Also, this guy's playing the Karma Wukong board, kind of. Remember I was talking like that's a variation, so I'm contested on Wukong, which is a little bit awkward. I do have quite a few of them, so I'm not too worried. I will be able to hit. And that's a testament to having so much gold, right? Imagine if I wasn't 20 gold on stage 2, I'd be 20 gold less right now, and that would be a lot worse. I'm rolling for a good charm here. I just want to guarantee a top 4. I find Morgana so I can hold on to that and play her next level. Because I have the Preserver emblem, I don't want to drop out of the Hunters right away. Because there's no reason for me to drop out of them like just this turn. I didn't buy the Twitch on purpose. I'm just trying to roll. Oh, I already have a charm. What am I rolling for? I guess I'm just rolling for like Jinx Wukong. That was a little bit of a deep roll. I think I might have forgotten that I bought a charm already. Let me see what I did here. I could have sat, right? Right after buying this charm. Yeah, I should have just sat here. I rolled a little bit deeper. I think that's just stress. Maybe it's just... That was a bad decision. I wouldn't roll there because there's nothing you can hit. It's not like I'm going to roll and I'm going to hit 2 Wukongs. Right? Like, it's very unlikely that my next shop is going to have 2 whole Wukongs in it. So I should have stayed at 20 gold. Because then at least I make, like, the 2 gold of interest, which is good enough. Because I still need to hit Jinx 3. As you can see, I don't have that many Jinxes. I'm kind of low rolling pretty hard on the Jinx. I have a lot of Wukongs. I'm uncontested Jinx. There's maybe one Kog'Maw player that's holding just 3 Jinxes. That's nothing. That's not really contesting. Right? It's not like he's holding a bunch of extra Jinxes on his bench trying to grief me. He's just holding what he needs to make it through. The same way me. That's why I'm not griefing his Kog'Maws, by the way. It's like a handshake when you're playing with good players. This guy's going for Kog'Maw 3. He has a Jinx on his bench, but he's not griefing me. That's his next in. He's gonna play the Jinx next. So he only made Jinx 2. He's not making any more because he needs the gold to roll for Kog'Maw. Right? That's like a normal thing. That's totally fine. That's not griefing. I'm never upset with people like that. But for me, that's why I'm only holding the Kog'Maw upgrade. Right? I'm not gonna sell my Kog'Maw to help that guy hit. The same way that he's playing the Jinxes to, also, is he holding more Jinxes? I was just talking like this guy like he was cool. I think he's holding extra Jinxes. Well, whatever. You know what I mean. Until I see him holding extra Jinxes, I'm not holding extra Kog'Maws. That's like the handshake deal you should always have with people when you're playing the game. Because for me, Kog'Maw 3 doesn't do anything for my board. Right? I have Olaf 2. I have a dual carry. I don't need Kog'Maw 3. So I don't need to hold extra Kog'Maws. I need to use that gold to hit Wukong and Jinx. And if I start holding extra Kog'Maws, that guy's incentivized to hold my Jinxes. Because if I'm going to grief him, he has every right to grief me back to make sure that I don't hit, just like how I'm making sure he doesn't hit. Right? Injured dog bites hard. As Cypher says in Valorant. But I'm a couple off. Basically, this is the point now. This is how most 3-cost rerolls are supposed to go, by the way. A lot of times you will play stage 4. You will roll until you have 2 stars of everybody. And you'll be stable to win most of the fights in stage 4. Obviously, I lost one of them. That was the Poppy player that was just way far ahead of me. And then after in stage 5, you typically have to hit all your 3 stars. It's usually pretty high roll to have a 3-star 3-cost in stage 4. But right now is the time to hit. So I need to roll basically to 0. You roll down all your gold. Because at this point, everybody else is going to be spiking in stage 5. They're all going to be getting better items, better units. So you want to make sure that... Oh, also it's gold sub. That's how I was so rich at the beginning, by the way. I just realized now. So I hit 1 Wukong. I was rolling for charm till 30. So now I send it to 0. Right now, you just go straight to 0 until you hit this Wukong. Because it's not worth it to chance the game and to greed. You might as well just hit your Wukong 3 and get the fuck out. Right? That's it. So I'm rolling. I'm not finding him. And I find him. So we found him right at the end. We basically destroyed our econ. We're no longer playing for first. That's what happens in these cases. Right? Finding the last Wukong. Not finding Jinx 3. We're a little bit behind. We're not that behind. We're just a little bit behind. So we're not going to be able to play for first. So we just got to make sure that we keep buying charms. We don't overgreed. We don't take any of these rounds for granted. You just try your best to play for your top 4. Make sure that you get your top 4 and then get out. Right? That's the game. We hit our unit. We're good. Jinx 3 is really good because it helps her damage and helps her be tanky. I would say Wukong 3 is way more important. I also have this Olaf 2. I made Even Shroud. So now I have Shred. Olaf gets a lot of Omnivamp from his ability, as well as based on AP, he gains like a certain amount of Omnivamp, and he has a lot of damage because of Hunter. If you get a kill, that is. The thing with Olaf is that sometimes tank items are really useful. I'm kind of using this as like slight damage, slight tank. Obviously, if I had a Last Whisper, I'd probably put Last Whisper on Olaf instead of Even Shroud. But it doesn't matter to me. I just want him to hold Shred item because he's going to be probably... Besides my Wukong, he's my next most tanky unit that's going to be up there in order to like deal with stuff. He also has the Preserver emblem, so he's gonna like recover a bunch of HP and live. My Olaf kind of griefed. He ran right in front of the Ahri, so now the Ahri gets to kill him. My Ahri is shooting the Wukong, and he just like got hit by a stray bullet. And now we're a little bit stronger than this guy. Obviously, we spiked. We hit the Wukong 3. Part of the reason why our Wukong didn't die, the health shield from Bloodthirster. Look, we got this huge health shield, and plus the Wukong shielding. It helped us a lot because the Ahri can't shoot through it. Obviously, when this guy has 3 items on Ahri, that probably won't matter, and I'll get destroyed. But this guy's greeting to go level 9, right? He's level 850 gold, and look at me, I'm level 70. This is a round that I'm expected to win. I spent all my gold. This is my board. I'm capped out. This guy has lots of room to improve his board, so we'll see how it goes. But like I said, every round we're going to roll for a charm probably. We're just trying to play for placements. We're true 0, so it's a little bit awkward, and we'll see how it goes. I wonder if I don't roll for it. Am I AFK? I was probably AFK. That's not even a good charm. You can see I'm debating it. Okay, see. So, I'll pause for a second just to explain what I did. So, I got the thing that gives me a temporary emblem. I'm not really playing 6 Hunter, but with the temporary emblem, I can play the Morgana that I'm holding on my bench. Excuse me, that I'm holding on my bench. So I put the Hunter emblem so I can drop the Kog'Maw. I don't need the Kog'Maw to do extra damage, and instead I get an extra Preserver in, which is really nice. Once I hit the Jinx 3, like I'm rolling every turn for a charm, but once I hit Jinx 3, I will level to play Vertical Preserver to help out. Like I said, I'm playing this 4 Hunter variation, strictly because of the of me having Olaf 2 already. I think it is just good to have. But as you can see, my Jinx is literally just frying everybody. I lose this fight. I think this is a positioning diff. I want my Jinx to be on opposite side because as you saw, once my Wukong died, these 2 units walked up and then they targeted the Jinx. If my Jinx was on opposite side, right, if my Jinx was in this corner, they wouldn't be able to do that, and my Jinx would probably kill them first. So I lost that fight because of positioning. That's my bad. I didn't scout. Make sure you always scout. Remember I was telling you, Jinx with this Wukong, very, very important to be on the correct side each time. I think my Jinx was also stuck on his 3 stars that I didn't get to scale it well. Here I just take a stone plate. I'm just taking any sort of item that is a tank item for this Olaf. I know Olaf is a fighter. I know you want to give him like AD and make him kill and do damage and all sorts of crazy shit. But in this case, also, I high rolled the last couple Jinxes, by the way. I just rolled once and I found the Jinx. So, yeah, that was really cool. But, you know, it was expected. I rolled a lot of gold. I low rolled on the Jinx. So, you know, I low rolled at the beginning. I high rolled after. It was a pretty average luck game, right? Besides my items working out really well and hitting category 5 or whatever it's called. Category 10. I forget what number it is. Like, my augments worked out really well. But besides that, I found myself in a good spot with the Wukongs and the Jinxes. So now that I have Jinx 3, I'm still going to roll for Charm every turn. Ideally, I can make it to level 8, and then I can play this Morgana. Get an extra Preserver and help the healing. Right? The Wukong isn't super tanky, but that's also because I don't have multiple Preservers in. I'm playing the Hunter version, so the Wukong dies a little bit sooner. A lot of times with this board. Also, Bloodthirster, it's good sometimes, but it's not good all the time. Like I said, there's probably better items. You probably, like, I think, instead of Bloodthirster, you probably want to make Crown Guard. Right? Like, Crown Guard is probably better on him, for sure. Because it gives a health shield, but it also gives AP and armor, which all help the Wukong out a bunch. I think here... Yeah, I got the belt charm, so I just put everybody up a row because they have the belts on them. And I just want this guy. The reason I'm making tank items on Olaf, like I said before, is just because he's my even shroud, so I want to keep my shred alive as much as possible. Here I should probably put the Jinx on the opposite side, but maybe I'm wrong. Come on. Nice. We still beat this guy. This guy went to level 9. I think he's in Xerath waiting room. I think if he upgrades Xerath and he buys charms, the true damage from the Xerath, like now he's online to basically just like win the game. It's just like a waiting room. And because he's like so much HP, I'm pretty sure like he's only 22 HP. There's a chance I still lose against this. There's a chance I still beat this guy. It's gold sub though, right? So gold sub, I'm pretty far behind. Remember what I said before? We had to roll really deep to find the Wukong and the Jinx. With how much gold I had, this was a very average luck game. It wasn't very high roll. It wasn't very low roll. It was a very average Jinx spot. The only thing that's high roll specifically is the category 5. That is just like a very, very good augment in the spot that I'm in. But besides that, it's not super high roll, not super low roll. The thing is, now it's gold sub. I get a huge influx of gold. I get 2 dummies. I can easily push a level now, play this Morgana, and get an extra preserver in. Now, I need to be very, very careful here. I need to position on the proper side against the this guy, Yeti. Whoever this is the Kog'Maw player. I have to position better against this Kog'Maw player or else. I just take Spark. I took Spark because Wukong does AP damage, I think. I just wanted a frontline item. I didn't position well in this fight, but I'm fighting clones, so I probably don't get punished. But this is bad positioning. I want to be on the opposite side. I want to kill these units so that my Jinx gets her Hunter attack boost. Right? If my Jinx isn't getting her Hunter attack boost, then, like, hello? What are we really doing here? Kog'Maw. I found a Rakan. If I can level for the Rakan, then I can play 5 Preserver as well, which is pretty hype. I'm seeing if the other team has crowd control, because then this charm is not very useful. He has a Briar, so maybe I can just buy this charm, but I think I want something better. I find armor, which is just great because this guy's all AD damage, so I want armor. And then I'm just gonna wait here for a second. I'm gonna move the Jinx to the last second, just because I don't want, if he scouts, I don't want him to see that I moved the Jinx. And now I finally positioned well against this guy. Jinx attacking the Blitzcrank. The Jinx is gonna get the kill. Right, and as soon as she does, she's gonna get a bunch of AD, and then we're off to the races. We're fine. If you watch the backline, they're getting completely obliterated by these double Runans. As you can see, they're just dying from stray bullets, which is great. We outcap this guy. It's just a matter of the other guy is playing the 4 Arcana or the multiple Arcana. So because he's playing Arcana, he has the opportunity to get a bunch of true damage. Right, as you can see, he found a Xerath and he's selecting it, so he's 3 Arcana. It gives bonus true damage for every charm that you buy. So that guy who's been very far in the lead, basically was winning most of the game because he hit the Poppy very early and has really good items on Poppy as well as Raid Boss. So now it's just like a ticking game. I don't think I can outcap this guy. Maybe if I hit 5 Preserver and I get a really good charm, I could just cheese him for 1 or 2 rounds. But he's also getting items on Ahri. And Ahri is like the bane of any tank, right? I'm like playing like this main guy who's unkillable. Guess what? Ahri's just gonna like completely melt him. Right? And that's what happened here. So not only is he getting bonus damage from the Xerath, he's getting a bunch of true damage. I don't know how much. I didn't check it. The Ahri is just obliterating my main tank. And that's all I have going for me is this Wukong that's unkillable. So, you know, we're running into a little bit of a stressful situation. We still want to get a second at least here, right? I didn't expect to beat the Poppy. Like I said before, we weren't playing for first because the mid-game situation was a little bit difficult. It didn't go perfect. So, even though this looks really good, it looks very high roll, very strong comm, we're going to try our best to try and get a, like, you know, a top 4 or something. I saw a Runan try and get our top 2 at least. This guy is a positioning battle. I need to make sure I position on the right side to make sure I get my Hunter bonus. I put Runans on Olaf. Sure, right? I have category 5. It can't possibly be that bad. I'm down for the Olaf to do some extra damage. Right? I'm totally down for it. This guy's positioned all on this side. So I want to position on the opposite side. I'm not sure if he's going to switch either side, so I just put the dummies one on each side because I just couldn't figure out. But ideally I want to put both dummies so that these guys the same thing applies with like the Kog'Maw Hunter bonus, so I want to try and position around that a little bit. But I think this guy outcapped, right? I'm pretty sure I beat this guy, but we'll see how it goes. He lost against the the Xerath slash Ari slash Ryze player. So I think this guy's dead already. So we're guaranteed our top 2, I think. Oh no, he's 1 life. I don't even know how he's 1 life. Oh, here, a back row champion gains attack speed. That's pretty good for me. I'm debating if I take it. So I'm going to move everybody. Because it's a back row champion, I'm moving all my other units out of the back row. Because I want to make sure that I give the attack speed to the Jinx. So if we look here, this is the side that I want to be on, by the way. I'm pretty happy with being on this side, but I'm trying to bait him into thinking that I'm going to switch. But he didn't switch. I don't know. I want to be on the other side. At least here I get to snipe the Lilia. It's a little bit difficult. I probably would have sniped the Nora with the category 5 anyways. But it's fine. I think I'm just so much stronger than this guy. Like, I'm pretty confident looking at his board. He doesn't have anything that's particularly incredible. It's just like a standard Kog'Maw board. He doesn't have any like enabling augment that makes him super broken. So yeah. And then now all that's left is the Ari player. We gotta see if we can cheese a fight. I have a Rakan that I can level for. I can obviously just play 5 Preserver, which is pretty good, right? 5 Preserver, 4 Hunter. The problem is this guy just has a bunch of extra true damage with the Xerath. So it's going to be really hard. It's like a waiting game. There's a certain point where that board will just be unbeatable because I just won't have enough damage to compare with him. Because the whole point of my board is I'm trying to be as tanky as possible and stall out for my Jinx to like stray bullet. Right? My Jinx has to stray bullet everybody else as well as hit them with all the extra Runan sauce. So, you know, and stack up the Guinsoo. So it's a little bit confusing, it's a little bit difficult. Here I decide to level. I'm not sure what the right decision was here. I either roll for charm or I level for 5 Preserver. I decide that I'll just go into this fight charmless and I'll just go for 5 Preserver. I'm not sure which is the better one. We'll see how this fight goes, and you can decide in your own heads if you thought one was better than the other. Here I just make another Last Whisper because in case my Olaf just randomly dies, I want to keep my Shred up. So I can put Shred on like some other unit just far away from everybody else. This guy got Stun, which is Charm. It's probably one of the best charms you can hit because I have to stack up and hit this Guinsoo. And let's watch this fight real fast. Okay, ready? We're stacking. We're ramping. Poppy's dead. Poppy's dead. All right. Xerath doing his true damage bullshit. And we just lost. That's a charm diff for sure. I don't know if I had rolled for charm if I would have won that fight, because I don't know how impactful the 4 Preserver was or the 5 Preserver was, but basically because he got the stun charm, I lost that fight. Because if he didn't get stun charm, like there's a couple others, like let's say he whiffed on his charm and he didn't buy a charm, I would have won that game. Which is kind of silly because I wasn't really aiming for a first. Like I said, we were playing very reserved and very safe. We rolled a lot of gold on 7 to make sure that we didn't greed. We rolled to like true 0 to make sure that we hit the Wukong on the exact turn that we needed to hit it. We didn't like slow roll 30 until we hit Wukong, slow roll Jinx, level, like try and greed too much. But that's it. That's a standard 3-cost reroll game. Hopefully it was informative. Hopefully it was fun watch. And yeah, try out Jinx. Like I said, come Wednesday, with the new patch, the itemization of Jinx might be different, but I don't think the comp is going to change all that much, and I think it will still be viable. So I want to put out a guide here. Also, promoted to Diamond 4. I was stuck in Emerald for a while because I was just annoyed at myself and at the game. And now I understand that you just have to pick a reroll and play reroll most of the time. If you're not playing reroll 9 out of your 10 games, you're probably doing something wrong. That's how the patch feels right now. I'm going to do a patch review as well as a how to read stats guide. Probably for tomorrow. They're both going to be out tomorrow. I'll see if I do them both. Obviously, like I'll try my best. I'm going to record them right now after this video. And then sometime next week, once the new patch drops, I will do the reroll and the forecast guide. I wanted to do it during this week, but because it's a patch week next week, I decided to postpone it until the new patch because I don't want it to be out of date instantly. At least if I do it next week, it will be relevant for the next 2 weeks, like that the patch exists, you know what I mean? So we're gonna wait until the new patch, and then I'll do those guides. So make sure to like and subscribe if you like the content. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you to everybody who stops by my streams. I appreciate all of you, and have a great rest of day, and hopefully have a great rest of the week and you enjoy your games.